full of clothing and then just disguise it as that.
Pretty much.
Somebody would fucking say the word nigger and then they'd get banned really quick.
And you just said it on stream.
I know. That's what I mean. It would be so easy to get banned from Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Nigger.
I've live streamed while we were live streaming, and Revan said that, and nothing's happened to me. So, but then again, that was like maybe a couple streams, so I don't know how long it'll take for them to catch on.
Nigger.
Nigger.
This might be why I'm not being able to stream. I don't know. Did YouTube ban my account from streaming?
Well, check Creator Studio.
You know if they banned you from streaming because you'd have gotten a community guideline strike.
Oh, true.
Nigger. Are you triggered yet?
I am extremely triggered, and I'm horrified and appalled.
God fucking damn it.
It says that we have one watcher.
And it's you.
It's probably me.
Some chance.
Which is funny because usually what I do is I watch the stream on my phone, which is how I check the chat. And that's also how I know the stream is working. Which is exactly how the Spanish language sounds to me. Hibida. And it's just that fast too.
I took 4 classes of Spanish during my college years, and I still cannot fluently speak Spanish, and I've forgotten most of my vocabulary for it. So the best I can do is actually read some of it. Like I could probably read some of it, but not like be able to actually like speak it and whatnot. Like fucking Spanish. And of course that's actually like a top language for me because I live in Texas. So that makes sense.
So where do I find the thing about streams? I'm on the Creator Studio.
Nigger.
I mean, I don't know where it is. I don't know where the thing is.
Nigger.
Yes.
Stop doing that. It's starting to get annoying.
Sorry. Dowie.
Yeah, this isn't working.
Oh my goodness.
And the thing is, though, I don't know where the monetization not enabled. Live streaming is enabled. Super chat ineligible. So I'm still in good standing, so no reason I shouldn't be able to.
Oopies.
Well, I don't get it. I don't know what's...
The CIA is after us.
The CIA niggers glow in the dark.
You can see them if you're driving. You just run them over. What you do.
I love the fucking... that some people are sending that to Dwayne now. No, that is somebody who deserves to be kept alive, like even though they're not. I wonder if he got buried.
I hope he got buried. I mean, you were telling us before that they're going to start bringing people back one of these days once technology gets to that point. And
once we can start sequencing RNA, then we'll start being able to regenerate flesh, and pretty soon from there you'll be able to start reanimating corpses.
Zombies?
No.
No, like just bringing people back. You're not bringing zombies because they actually have the cognitive agency, the cognitive function of a person. Zombies don't. By definition, a zombie is someone that doesn't have agency or cognitive function.
Aw, but I want to shoot zombies.
If we do get zombies, does that mean we can own them since they don't have agency?
Yes, actually.
I wouldn't want to own one, but I'm still curious anyway. So
fair enough, but yeah.
I want to kill them. That'd be so fun.
I mean, like, if I wanted to, if I were to take all the piss I've ever pissed, like, it would be enough to fill like an aquarium to put like fishes and crabs in it.
And for the record,
that is beyond me, but yeah.
But for the record, we already know how to sequence DNA, and from there, we've been able to artificially construct life forms in labs. Like they're on a bacterial scale because, without RNA, we can't create proteins, which means that we can't create anything more than that currently. But we know how to sequence DNA, so RNA is not too far
It
apart
shouldn't
from
be.
our understanding.
I mean, it might be that RNA, because it's literally only half of a DNA strand, is so small and complex that that might actually be a lot trickier than it looks. Sort of like the
Oh
difference
yeah,
between it's sort of like the difference between shooting a target and shooting a marble.
Hopefully in the next 20 years we can just start creating furries already.
Florida man creates zombies in order to play Call of Duty in his house.
Oh, are we still streaming? By
That'll
the way?
be a story of the future.
I mean, we're streaming, yeah, but I'm also recording, so
I see. What do we do? Do we just do first article? Do we even have the articles anyway? Because
yes, we do.
Oh, you found
I mean, we
articles.
can basically do whatever we want.
Florida man throws himself off a cliff and doesn't feel anything.
That'll be a
Okay,
story of
let's
the
actually
future
get
too.
started on the articles.
Okay. Anyone want to get started on the articles?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I already
Police-
have the first one open.
Police taser and shoot dog for protecting its home. Dispose of body before notifying the owner.
Gee.
Great.
Yes.
Why
And
did they
we
have to
have,
tease it at first?
well, we always have to do police brutality videos first. But I mean,
why
like,
did
They
they... Oh,
seem
yeah.
to get worse every week.
this actually seems normal to me because this one is
Well,
just.
yeah, because they're so fucking horrible all the time.
I don't know if this could possibly be any worse than the police who orders a man to decapitate his own dead dog.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Wait, when was that?
Yeah, wasn't last week's pretty bad though? They
the
shot
brain-
the autistic kid in the back while he was running away from him.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the only one we covered last time. I mean, wasn't there also that one where the police guy was caught on camera saying that he had an incentive to shoot people?
That was the one
yeah.
previously.
And that was like the one from like the week before, something like that. Wait, what
They
was the
all
one
sound
about the
pretty
shooting the
fucked up to me.
autistic kid? When was that?
Actually, the kid wasn't shot. He was running away from the police for obvious reasons, and SO thought he got shot because he stumbled. But in fact, you can actually see on the video the kid kept running.
Huh.
I mean, you did hear gunshots, so the police did shoot at him.
Oh,
However, it's
God.
unclear if he got hit or not, but he definitely kept running.
Oh yeah.
Must be one tough ass kid.
Or maybe
You know, it's
the
actually
police
pretty
just.
sad that Hoplu is not here. You know, we should have just talked about Hoplu's story. Because, well, it's not police brutality, but it still shows how shitty the legal
You can link that to
system
me.
and whatnot. Make that thing. How about next time we do that?
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that next time.
Okay. Yeah, but here's the. Basically, they're going to. Basically, what happened in this story is that this guy's or this woman's brother and friends break into
Her house.
breaks into her house. Dog starts barking. He calls the police, and the police, instead of arresting the intruder, just shoot the dog. If you have a dog, I mean, just don't call the police in general. But if there is a dog involved, do not call the police.
You want to get revenge on your friend? Well, if they have a dog, well,
Call the police.
Yeah,
Cop shoots my dog, I shoot the cop. It's that simple.
pretty much.
Oh yeah, I'll do the same. Fuck if any cop comes over, I'm gonna fucking blow up his fucking car if he comes over here with that.
you know, that
Hopefully, it'll
reminds me.
never come to that.
When you guys like say that, I think of like that video from Shane, the John Wick mentality or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Like
The
what
warrior
was
cop?
that? Like the John Wick like mentality or whatever, that like any sort of action could be like justified with like violence, or any like amount of violence is justified. Like for I'm trying to remember what that video was, but
John Wick morality.
or yeah, that's what he is.
Mhm.
Remember that? That's what I think for some reason.
If you want to
Yeah.
remember something, ask the autist.
So also, we have a video of the encounter. So everybody quiet, so people who are hearing the recording can hear it. Dog is barking. You have the police officer pointing something at the dog. And you can hear the gunshot.
Yeah, I heard a small click.
Yeah, there's another angle of it. Yeah,
Sounds
they're on video, yo.
Sounds niggerish.
It's absolutely atrocious. Yeah, I don't know what it is with police officers, but they seem to have a raging hate boner for dogs in general.
Maybe it's because they'll get extra days off if they shoot a dog and they don't have to worry about killing a person.
Probably. Well, I mean, they get an incentive for filling out the paperwork for shooting a person in the first place. So,
Well, they can
I mean,
shoot a dog and not feel
well,
guilty about shooting an
Do
animal.
they have to fill out paperwork if they shoot a dog? I mean, I doubt it because, nobody else would have to fill out paperwork if they killed somebody else's dog.
probably. Maybe it's like for police procedures, you have to write explanations for what happened, and you have to fill out all sorts of paperwork verifying if this is true. You have to consult lawyers, all this ridiculous bureaucracy. Probably not nearly as much as if you shot a person, but as we saw earlier, police, or as we saw last week, police officers are incentivized to shoot people and shoot things because the paperwork they have to fill out requires them to stay overtime, which means money, 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 money. Your wounds are their payday.
Yeah, they can basically just have a nice hot coffee and fill out something at their house or something like that.
Pretty
Your pain
much.
is their pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably can fucking jack off to the or whatever. But,
Well, that's probably what they're doing.
probably.
Well, I mean, this is the incentive that government power creates. You have a whole bunch of people who are incentivized to have a certain number of arrests to meet a quota in order to get money. And then you have people who get paid overtime, which is double hourly pay for staying overnight to fill out paperwork after they shot somebody.
Is that for all cities or?
Yeah, if I was
like,
a legitimate monster, I'd work for the government because then I could just do whatever the fuck I want and get away with it.
Oh,
Art.
I recall seeing a story in 2012 about this.
It's harder.
Seeing a story in 2012. I don't remember the exact year, but in 2012, where this company was contracted to work for, I believe, the EPA to fill out paperwork, and they did nothing. Like, literally, the government paid them to do absolutely freaking nothing. Just show up to the office, stay 8 hours, and then leave.
Oh, okay, I guess I can. Then I'll work for the EPA, and because I'm a lazy fuck, I actually will legitimately work for the EPA, or the Canada's equivalent to the EPA. I'll do that, and then I'll just show up at the office and listen to my cell phone and whatever and all that shit, and talk to you guys online, and then go home and have fucking tons of money.
Actually, I'm not sure that's a good idea because I have a very strong feeling that it's not just you spend 8 hours in an office doing whatever the hell you want. I think it's you spend 8 hours in an office sitting on your hands, and the corporate, or at least the equivalent of corporate, requires you to just stare at an empty computer screen for 8 hours. You're not only not doing anything, you're not allowed to do anything.
How about if I just sneak in my
sounds like
phone or
it's
something
Stanley
like that?
Parable.
That'd be ridiculously easy just to sneak in my fucking phone.
Probably. Well, you better hope there's no
Cameras.
there's no cameras, there's nobody trying to see what their employees are doing. Which I'd wager that there's probably a lot of inquisitors snooping around, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, then I just friggin' like have like it in my drawer or something like that with headphones in or something like that, and then just snap it back in and make it look like it's plugged into the computer or something. Fuck.
Oh yeah. Speaking of phones, I have like an iPhone 8, and I lost the little dongle like for my headphones, so now I can't use headphones for it.
Nigger.
Fucking Apple.
That's a,
Yeah.
I mean,
The
that's just
company to just regress backward each phone.
it's a terrible design. I don't know what they were thinking.
In the words of Angry Video Game Nerd, what were they thinking?
The reason they do that is because it makes it so you have to buy specific headphone jacks for iPhones and iPods, so that you can't just use any other company. They make their own jacks so that you have to use theirs and brands they associate with specifically. It's a practice that essentially could only survive if a company like Apple was protected by the state from competition, because that's a pretty anti-competitive practice, and in a free market, that really wouldn't be a thing.
Oh yeah, it makes no sense why that would continue to still be a thing. I mean, I think Apple's been going downhill ever since Steve Jobs died. They've completely scraped the bottom of the barrel in terms of creativity. And nowadays, it's just like slight iterations and marginal improvements on some of their software, while sliding backwards on several others. Anybody remember iTunes
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
back when that was actually usable?
yeah.
Ugh.
Well, then again, I haven't really ever touched it, so never mind.
I mean, I still use my iPhone as a music player, and I it's so hard to use iTunes.
Huh.
I don't know. I haven't found any good iTunes alternatives that have actually been able to work.
So they've basically become the Call of Duty of the phone industry.
They've become the fucking EA of the phone industry.
Pretty much.
I mean, at least Call of Duty tries to spice it up each year. I mean, think about like this new iPhone and then the older iPhones. I just see them as iPhones. But at least when I look at Call of Duty, I see Infinite Warfare, and then the Modern Warfare. I mean, shit. I mean, at least they try to be different. Apple, they just want to fuck everything up for some
Infinite
reason.
Warfare was fucking bad though. Oh my god, fuck.
I played it anyway.
I did not want to buy that piece of garbage. Fuck no.
Oh, you
Asia,
think
I
that's
have
a
a
piece of
feeling.
garbage? You think that's a piece of garbage? I want you to pick up and play Sonic 06. Like,
Oh
once you
god,
play
no.
that,
Fuck no.
Asia, you have a thing for playing bad games.
yeah, when do you play something like Sonic 06? Like, I mean, you can play just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a fetish or something to play with bad games?
Depends. But
I
anyways,
guess I
I
do.
think we
Oh
should
yeah,
move on to the next topic.
the Sonic Adventure 2 count as a bad game?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind then.
What the hell is this? Top 10 most brutal methods of execution in history. Why is
Oh
that?
my god.
Why is that on the recommended? I'm just
And it's
curious.
just
Sounds hot.
just like a One Punch Man like scene for the thumbnail.
I already
Here's-
know what number one most brutal form of execution is. I already know it.
You don't need to say it.
Top 10 things that look like Dwayne's hairline.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Top 10 niggers eating watermelons. I don't know.
All right, so here's something that's gonna absolutely piss everybody off. And if you're not pissed off, then you're not really paying attention. So pay attention. Brothers face $450,000 in fines for cutting trees on their own property without asking the government first.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, what the hell?
Okay, fuck you.
I would grab a gun if I were one of the brothers and fucking shoot them.
So what happened is that property owners, two brothers, owned a 16-acre plot of land, and they wanted to basically deforest it, which
And
involved
it's a 16-acre plot of land. Jesus Christ. So that's not even like a neighborhood. That's a considerable amount of property. That's like a farm property.
Yeah, actually, my parents recently bought, actually not really recently, like last year, bought a property around that size. So yeah, that'll be fun. So 16-acre plot of land, and they wanted to clear it out. So they decided to, hey, you know what? It's our property. We own it. We can do whatever this the hell we want with it. So let's get rid of these trees.
No, you
Okay.
can't. Not with the state, at least.
Nope. So apparently, what they needed to do was to cut down 1,400 trees, which is a lot by any standard of measurements.
Sorry, that's just a
Even if
door.
they're small trees, it's gonna be a fuck ton of work.
It is,
If I were
but
them, I'd turn around and sell all the wood. That's probably tens of thousands of dollars in lumber.
Man,
probably, or at the very least, firewood.
wood
Yeah, if you
wood.
sold it as firewood, especially this time of year, you'd make a lot of money.
But what happened is that the government said that, whoa, hold on a second. You owe us $225 to $450 per tree, which adds up to roughly $450,000. Because you should have asked us for permission so we can hire some experts to make sure that you're cutting down the right trees. Make sure you're not cutting down any trees that we want kept.
Well, fuck with it's their property.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, I'd say.
Mhm.
And if you come over to my house asking for fucking money, then I'm gonna fucking blow your Inquisitor's brains out. Fuck.
But no, this essentially is just another example that private property does not actually exist with a state. You can't have private property in a state.
I'm actually surprised XBL Spartan X170 didn't say that we need the state to protect property rights.
Oh yeah, that's
It
gonna
would
be
have been
so
even
fucking
funnier
great.
if he actually.
Filthy Heretic and him were only debating ethics. Just for people who are watching the stream, him and I are supposed to debate the praxis of the state soon here. So I mean, I could debate ethics too, but yeah, that's gonna be really fucking fun if you want like a WWE style SmackDown.
Yeah, and I already said,
hope,
I want to be in that debate, but I'll mute myself. I just want to listen.
I hope he says, but without government, who will build the roads?
Without government, who will fine people for chopping down trees on their own property?
Without government, who will kill the nigger?
Without government, who killed 20,000 kittens?
Without government, who will shoot the autistic kids?
Without government, who will kill the dogs?
Who will shoot?
I love that SWAT team meme, like with all the hand signals, what they mean. Like, I get to shoot this dog. Shoot this dog over here. I see another dog to shoot.
Hey,
That Chihuahua has a gun.
oh man, I wonder if they're gonna start targeting autistic kids now. That's the next shooting thing. God.
You'll be fine.
I better start hiding then. Fuck it.
You'll be fine. Don't worry.
Oh, really? In Canada, you don't think they might start shooting autistic kids?
I don't know. But yeah, the idea that you have a right to property, if you have property rights under a state, is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah,
I mean,
because that would mean that you have the right to refuse association with the state, and we know that's not true. Because according to the Constitution and the laws, they can seize any property that they want in order to sustain themselves, and they need to do that to sustain themselves. So it's not just our country, it's any country, any state.
Oh, and it's also hilarious whenever I hear the argument. When I'm talking about property taxes. Oh, property taxes are just the rent you pay to the government to own your property. So you don't really own your property, do you?
But without the government, who will sell weapons
It's
to
not
the
rent
sand
because
monkeys?
it's not a consensual arrangement. That's the absurdity with that argument.
Well, there's multiple absurdities.
Without the government, who will sell the weapons to the sand monkeys?
I don't know. Who will? I guess that's a problem we'll have to face when the state is finally abolished. I mean, I figure that there'll be some way to figure out how to absolutely destroy humanity and civilization.
Dude, I don't know when the state will be abolished, or even if it is. I think it might just default and stop existing one day. But I am gonna freaking, oh my god, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. the president or politicians come forward, and I don't know what they're gonna say. Like, oh, we can't sustain the state anymore. That's gonna be great.
Well, what's going to happen is they're going to scream and holler even more so than they are already. If you think they're being hyper paranoid and alarmist about Bitcoin, when you haven't, I don't think you've seen anything yet. As far as they're concerned, it's going to be the worst thing in the world.
I just know that the day it happens, like when they start talking about it, and when politicians and statists start screaming and freaking out about it, I'm gonna make a compilation of all of them, similar to that one Trump wins the election compilation by Dami Pesos on YouTube. You've probably seen, and I'm gonna edit them all together and put like comedic music in the background just so we can all enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Well, what's going to happen is that what I'm anticipating is the kind of lead up that you're going to see wall-to-wall coverage of: is cryptocurrency the end of our civilization? Is cryptocurrency the worst thing to ever exist? And it'll be constant wall-to-wall coverage. You'll see opinion polls of the top 10 most the top 10 things voters are most concerned about. You'll see cryptocurrency or crypto anarchy in general being even in the top 3 things voters are concerned about.
I'd imagine monsters will be concerned about it, because then they won't be able to get away with their bullshit anymore.
Pretty much. Which
But
is
Litecoin is homophobic.
Oh yeah. Now
Litecoin is homophobic? What the fuck?
Now the best way to avert
Bitcoin is racist. Get ready for that headline. To my knowledge, there isn't one that currently exists, but get ready, because one of these days, someone from like Salon or wherever is gonna write an article calling Bitcoin racist.
I'm Googling that right now.
Oh my goodness.
It already exists. Watch. I bet anything it already exists, and I just didn't know about it.
Is Bitcoin racist? About 6,240,000 results. Here's an article from Business Mirror. Bitcoin is racist.
Not surprising.
Is it a parody article?
Bitcoin is racist.
Read the article first.
I think my problem is that I'm a little bit further behind. Like, I think that we're a step behind where we already are in the Bitcoin crypto anarchy hysteria. Like, I think that they've come to the realization that they're done and there's nothing they can do about it. But like, I don't think, like, they're not panicking about it and talking about martial law and shit yet. They will eventually, though. Watch. Eventually, that's what they're going to start doing. In a last-ditch attempt to try and shut down the agoras that are going to form, they're going to try and declare martial law. The problem is that they're not going to be able to fund the military, because everybody is going to be trading in the crypto market and not being taxed. And even if they did have some military, they're going up against hundreds, thousands of private security firms, which are all better armed and better supplied than they are.
Not to mention, everyone will be probably having black market firearms and all that shit, or just 3D printed firearms, and we can all just go hunting out inquisitors and putting their heads on stage.
You guys ever watch that show Super Jail?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I remember that show like a while back. I think I've only maybe seen like 1 or 2 episodes, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, there's an episode of Super Jail where like it's not necessarily a flashback, it's like a flash forward. It's just, it has a lot of context to it that's not really worth explaining, because the point is that there's a scene where where Super Jail creates an army because they created a fast food chain, and they're basically fighting against all the governments of the world. That's what government militaries going against private security firms from the Agora would look like.
Well, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't be able to fight because they're their entire operations, their objectives, and even their rules of engagement are going to be entirely controlled by politicians, whereas the Agora militaries are going to just want to get the job done.
Yeah, they're beholden to us because without us, they literally don't make anything, and we're just as armed as they are. So
Well,
it's
Actually,
not
we're
like
more
they would
armed.
have any. It's not like they'd have any leverage over us. In fact, we'd be fighting side by side with them. A lot of us would.
mhm.
Again, basically we can go. They can that we can go there. It's basic. It reminds me of basically, it reminds me when in the Star Wars the Phantom Menace. I hate to bring that up, but remember when the EMP goes off? No, not the EMP. I mean the droid control gets destroyed. That's what's basically going to happen to the state.
Well, that'd be hilarious.
If you want to see the scene from Super Jail that I'm talking about, go to YouTube and look up 437 counts of time crime. That's what the video is titled.
Ooh.
Anyway, yeah, like it's gonna be like the Phantom Menace where the droid control's destroyed.
Yeah, you mentioned that already.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's going to be absolutely hilarious, and there's not going to be a damn thing that they're going to do about it. Now, there's also a good chance that we could avert the hysterics that the politicians and mainstream media are going to rile people up into, because possibly before the rise of the counter economy and the agoras, you'll already see the collapse of the mainstream media, which without their mainstream platforms, the CIA and the CIA niggers and the politicians in general will have no way to really get their alarmism about Bitcoin out. People will just trade it whatever they want.
Without government subsidies, how are these media outlets going to exist?
They aren't.
Without the government, who will subsidize EA?
It'll be things like that that are going to be the first things to go. The subsidies for media outlets, Social Security is probably going to be like the very first thing to go.
Yeah, and also there's one other factor that most people overlook. Esso, you can probably verify this since I know Fox News is at your house. What kind of commercial, or what's the target audience for the commercials that air on Fox News?
Well, they're all about retirement or going on vacation. So it's mostly, I'd say, like age 40 to 60.
Basically, yeah. You have
Pretty boomer tier shit.
It's not even boomer. It's not even boomer tier because it's meant to appeal to elderly people or at best middle-aged people. Their audience is literally dying out.
Yeah, and I mean, they occasionally will have commercials advertising pharmaceutical products, but they're all for things like people who have cataracts or just shit that people who are in their 20s wouldn't have, like arthritis and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. They're not gonna be relevant for much longer. I mean, granted, they'll probably still continue to exist, and you'll still have things like CNN artificially boosting their own ratings by buying out the TVs at airports. But yeah, they're not going to be relevant for much longer, and the priesthood of statism is going to have a harder time getting people scared about things. So let's move on to the next topic. This one's fun. Just the beginning. Top neocon insider claims responsibility for Facebook purge. Says more to come.
Let's see. We got neoconservatives, which are purging stuff from Facebook and, largely responsible for Facebook censorship. Then the mainstream media blames it on the left and acts like it's a social justice issue. And the GOP comes forward as a voice of reason to denounce that and try and rally the country around regulations for the internet and to try and get people to vote for the GOP. More confirmation of my theory and the media and its relation to the political system that I've been proposing lately.
neocons are a plague.
I think this is a very excellent insight in the sense that they're manufacturing these crises over and over again, specifically to create power. I mean, a more recent and relevant example, especially to normies, is you have this migrant caravan coming up through Mexico. With,
A literal fucking army of illegal immigrants they're scaring people with now.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the migrant caravan is funded by a group, which in Spanish it's called People Without Borders, but it's a Spanish name, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, it's that group is a front group for, I again don't fucking remember the name off the top of my head. I'll go ahead and look it up real quick.
Yeah, they have they're not a bunch of people who spontaneously got together and it's like, hey, let's go to America. This is an organized front by people who go to the United States in caravans and then immediately come back for the sole purpose of getting people scared so that they'll vote in elections.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed, because in like the pictures you can see that these people, they have a bunch of tents and they're all living pretty comfortably despite the fact that there's 3,500 of them. That tells me that there's significant coordination, and you know, how much does it cost to feed 3,500 people with 3 meals every day? It's got to be a large organization which is funding them. That's the first thing that I noticed. So I looked up this group, which by the way is called Pueblos Infanteros, and Pueblos Infanteros is a front group for the National Day Labor Organizing Network, which is a Democrat Party interest group, which is funded by like 15 other different Democrat Party interest groups.
I bet Soros is involved.
Not that I've seen yet, but basically, like, you have NGOs which have similar interests to Soros groups funding them. So basically.
And also, how much would it cost to give them all matching backpacks?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's... I didn't even notice that they all have matching backpacks, but yeah. The point is that somebody sunk hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars into this, and that's not something that can happen just through spontaneous organizing.
No, this is just to scare people, galvanize voters into creating this manufactured crisis. You have the Democrats who are proposing increasing welfare spending, yay! And the Republicans are just like, build a wall, we gotta put more restrictions on this. And both of them are going to increase the size and power of the state. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious how obvious this propaganda is. I mean, they're like, okay, people aren't buying our shit anymore. What should we do? Oh, I was watching Game of Thrones recently, and those ice people seemed pretty scary, so let's create a Mexican army of basically like that ice group that stormed the border from Game of Thrones. I don't even remember what they're called. The Whites, I think.
White Walkers, yeah.
Yeah, White Walkers.
Is George Soros the final boss?
George Soros is the final boss of anarchism.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, the Rothschilds are the final boss of anarchism.
How about the UN?
Okay,
The UN is
ready then.
The UN is the mid-game boss that's way harder than it needs to be. They're the boost guardian of the anarchism.
Or the Halo 5 hunters.
Soros is basically like the modern day Rothschild. I mean, he has the same interests. I mean, not the Rothschild, I meant Rockefeller. He's like a modern day Rockefeller, basically. He has similar interests to the Rothschild, but and he has quite a bit of control over global politics, but not anywhere near the extent of the family which literally owns the fucking central banks of like most Western countries in the world.
Oh damn!
Yeah, basically, Soros gets his money by subverting the currencies of countries and then profiting when their currencies collapse. He's kind of just someone who's in it for the money, but he's still like an absolutely deplorable person, unironically. And, yeah. But anyways, back on topic. This guy, Jamie Fly, operates with the German Marshall Fund, which is a neocon American pro-imperialist organization that likes to spread democracy across the world. Suffice to say, not good people, and they are partners with the Atlantic Foundation, or Atlantic Council, sorry, who, if you recall, are receiving funding from all branches of the American military for some reason. The Bloomberg Foundation, who, if you recall, knew about the Parkland shooting an hour and a half before it started, and the Open Society Institute, aka George Soros. So these guys are totally good and trustworthy, I promise.
Totally not the kings of corporatism. It sounds like.
Well, you know what this is all about. You have a whole bunch of people who recognize that their days are numbered, and our ability to communicate with each other, simply making memes, is a threat to their power. That's how fragile it is.
I love it.
And it's also,
This is
well,
all
like I was saying earlier, this proves it's not just fucking Democrats and leftists. It proves that people on the right, the so-called right, whatever that means, and conservative parties have the exact same interests.
Yeah. Well, I would caution saying that neocons are not conservative.
Oh yeah, neocons are no true Republicans.
Oh, they're definitely Republicans. But I'm only saying that because
really shitty ones.
I used to be a conservative, so. And
yeah, I used to be a conservative too, and I've heard that argument. Oh, the GOP, they're different than those neocons. I mean, they have the exact same interests and they do the exact same thing when they're in power, but oh, they're so different.
So different.
Oh,
Let's just not have these people at all. They can just go away forever.
Just tell them kindly to fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. I like the guy's name though, Jamie Fly. His last name is incredibly appropriate because I know what turd he's orbiting. But anyways,
McFly.
Sounds like somebody who would be in like BMX or something.
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
McFly. Hey, McFly. Whatever.
Well, McFly. The difference is that McFly traveled through time. This guy's just circling some horse's butt. So, anyways, next topic we have something that's crap. Why did it do that? We have something that probably would have been appropriate a year ago, but nowadays it actually comes off as very passé, even though it happened actually just yesterday. PETA says cow's milk is a symbol of white supremacy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's not a new thing. I mean, I've heard a couple of different outlets say that now, or something along those lines.
What else is Bitcoin and milk are interlinked? I don't know.
Well, remember that everything is
racist.
Everything is racist.
Everything is sexist. Oh, Bitcoin is sexist now.
Oh yeah, and 4chan even convinced mainstream media that the OK sign was a symbol of white supremacy.
They convinced the mainstream media that signs. Well, no, they didn't even convince them. They just started putting up signs that say it's okay to be white, and they started saying it's racist.
Oh my goodness.
No. I mean, like they convinced them that the OK sign, you know, where you put your pointer finger and your thumb to make a circle.
Yeah, I know that.
That's a symbol of white supremacy because the three fingers form a W and the circle forms a P with the length of your arm. So it's white power. which was of course a psyop, specifically to trick the mainstream media, and they fell for it. They freaking fell for it.
I know, even Obama made that okay sign. Okay, I guess Obama's a white supremacist now.
Yeah.
And critical theory is a hell of a drug.
Obama's a white supremacist, you guys. He was wearing the KK.
I want you to look up something. Is Bitcoin sexist? I want you to look that up, and if it is, we should try convincing the media that it's a sexist psyop against women.
Yes, we're doing
It
that.
goes against vagina.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so here's the first. I just
Hold on. But then we could get Republicans to start trading with it just to try and spite them.
oof. So
We'd increase the demand significantly if we did that.
it's not a bad idea. So here are the top 5 articles when I type in "Is Bitcoin sexist?" on Google. Bitcoin's gender divide could be a bad sign, experts say.
Fucking great, so I'm already too late on that one.
Yes.
Oh my. Okay.
This is from January, by the way.
Look that up right now.
Oh, here's a good one. This is a post on Reddit, so it's not an article per se, but it's "Why is cryptocurrency sexist?" Is the crypto world sexist? That might be the wrong question. Technology Review. New York Times. Women in cryptocurrencies push back against blockchain bros. And CNN.
They already started. Oh my god.
And CNN. Are Bitcoiners sexist?
What the fuck?
What is this?
Here's an article from The Guardian. The crypto future is female. Bitcoin innovators push for inclusion.
What the fuck?
What is
These people
this?
are fucking retarded.
I mean, I don't know how Bitcoin could possibly be sexist. I'm just trying to parse this out.
It's literally so it's literally so antitrust that it's practically depersonal from any transaction. I mean, seriously.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, how would a Bitcoin know that you're sexist, or how it know that you're a woman, know that you're anyone?
It's like literally, exchanges with cryptocurrency are like literally the most meritocratic things ever. Like it could possibly be. It is just entirely reputation based.
I don't understand. This does not make sense to me.
Do they have stupid?
Yeah, I guess. Bitcoin needs women, according to Motherboard. Is sexism holding cryptocurrency back? New York Times. Cryptocurrencies are sexist.
Oh my god. These people are fucking retarded.
Well, what's next? Bitcoin is Islamophobic?
Let me see.
Oh my god.
Okay, if that article actually exists, I'm going to grab this toothpick on this table right next to me right now and shove it down my penis hole.
Get ready, though. Get ready.
Okay, good news. I can't find it.
Okay, thank goodness.
There's an article from the Daily Saba, which I assume is an Islamic website, that says better to stay away from Bitcoin.
Okay.
Considering that fucking Islam wants to establish like one of the most authoritarian systems that could exist, no wonder they oppose it.
I'm actually wondering what's more authoritarian, the Plato's Republic or Islam, or an Islamic State. Not the Islamic State, but an Islamic State.
Well, I mean, considering that, I mean, that's sort of a nuanced question, because, like, how do you define authoritarian? Ethically or materially? Well, ethically, all governments are exactly the same. They're the most totalitarian entities which could exist. Materialistically, it's a bit of a different story, and from there, you have to define that. Like, in relation to property ethics, then in that case, we're just back to ethics again.
Yeah. Well, I think the best way to figure this out is just like divide it into several categories: home, economics, or financial freedom, property rights, personal rights, and all sorts of other things. You can judge each one according to those categories and compare them by a certain score. So it's like a voluntary society is considered to have 100%. A completely totalitarian society would have 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, let's move on to the next one since the previous one didn't seem to have much interest.
But what was it again?
The previous one was PETA
There's
says that milk is a symbol of white supremacy.
so little interest. Well, yeah, because that's an old story. I remember I covered that back in like May of last year. I did a video on some outlet saying that.
But here's the thing: the stories just came out yesterday.
Did they do it again?
They're recycling old talking points.
Are you sure? I
And
mean,
they're recycling their content like Bungie does.
It wasn't PETA that said it last time. I think it was CNN that said it last time.
probably.
But yeah,
that just shows that PETA is incredibly behind the curve and are not receiving the social justice memos. They need to really get their stuff together.
The only reason they're saying that is because they're vegans. So.
Pretty much. So next topic, paid protest firm Crowds on Demand sued in $23 million extortion plot.
Oh yeah, and people still have the fucking audacity to deny the fact that paid protesters are a thing. There's literally an industry for them. There are companies which specialize in providing paid protesters.
Yeah. I mean, do you think either these protesters, like, no, it actually is their job. You have people hired for the sole purpose of holding up signs and doing mindless chants. There's nothing else to it. I mean, you think those people who show up to those rallies are real people? I mean, they're real people, obviously, but
no, they're about as fake as
they really have those opinions.
Really have
more
those
times than not, I doubt it. You know, that would actually explain the NPC meme, why a lot of them just have recycled opinions and their signs say the exact same thing, because all of them are paid protesters.
Pretty much. And you know that they rehearse this stuff. So these are people who basically just get paid to wave signs around, and sometimes they don't even know what these signs mean. I remember one incident from, I believe, an Occupy Wall Street protester who was wielding a sign around about how capitalism was bad. A reporter went up to them asking them what they thought about capitalism, and the guy was like, "No hablo inglés." He couldn't even read the sign that he was waving around.
I assume that that was after Soros co-opted it.
Oh, yeah.
No hablo inglés.
Pretty much. He didn't know what he was doing, and he was just doing it for the money. And this is not, while it is not new that these fake protesters are a thing, but because I have this up on screen right now of a Craigslist ad. Stop Trump, up to $1,500 a week. Hiring today. Call today. Start tomorrow. $15 to $18 hourly wait, plus bonus, plus overtime, up to 77 hours per week. Jeez.
Well, I can see why so many people are doing it, because that's actually some pretty goddamn good money.
Yeah, and even then, it's like that's pretty easy work. You just do some mindless chants. You wander around, wave some signs, and then I mean, those are some pretty serious hours, but if you are getting overtime, that's like 37 hours in overtime. That's a lot of money. $15, $1,500 a week is some serious cash.
Yeah,
that would explain why so many people, don't really have answers to questions that reporters ask as well, because they don't actually believe it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested just like show up as a paid protester, and when a reporter goes up to me, I'll tell them exactly what I actually think.
Yeah, dude, we should do that. We
I
should look around our local areas for paid protesting firms. We should get hired there, and then when we're out actually walking around, if we just look for a reporter, walk as close to them as possible, hope that they come up to us, and then give them our actual opinions.
They realize that we're not only intelligent and articulate, and we know exactly what we're talking about, but it is clear we're being paid. And we have to be honest. We're going to be completely honest about it. It's like, yeah, I mean, I signed up on this date, and they pay me this amount of money. It's actually pretty easy money.
you're
I
gonna
don't
lose.
think you get fired for that because your job is just as a paid protester. The firm which paid you doesn't give a shit what you say. It's
Yeah.
the group that paid the firm, maybe,
hmm
but
I doubt that
no.
I doubt that they're micromanaging and involved in the hiring decisions day to day. I
Yeah,
mean, you probably will be fired, but
the firm would probably just say, "Hey, I mean, we don't control the people, we just organize them."
mhm.
Which,
Probably
yeah,
already
that is
doing
exactly
this.
what they agreed to. It's not like they're being deceptive with that.
Well, I for one see no issue with stealing money from horrible people.
It's not that I care about the firm like losing money or like actually upsetting the people that paid the firm. It's that I'd care in that position about being fired.
Hmm. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, like what you can do is like pass them a piece of paper that tells them everything. If you want to be discreet about it.
No, you want to say it right in the camera.
Hmm.
Because if you pass them a note saying it, they're just not going to report on it.
Probably not, but that'll be absolutely freaking hilarious. No previous experience required. Full-time and part-time positions. Weekend positions available. No fundraising. No commission. God, the
Yeah,
amount
I
of
really want
commission.
to do this as a job. Holy shit, I should do this as a job. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
actually.
should do this. I'm not even joking. Like, we should look around for local firms, and we should actually start doing this.
Well, what you do is I think you go on Indeed.com and type in "Stop Trump." I think that'll be your best way to do it.
Is there any way to do this in Canada? Fuck, I hope.
Probably. I don't know.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
they probably have them in every country. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
all right, I need to find it in Canada or something like that. Fuck, so I can get some fucking money.
Wouldn't it be funny if just like the entirety of the paid protesters that are being bussed around by progressives consisted entirely of ANCAPs?
That
I
would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been suggesting we should just do like a demonstration where it's not really a demonstration. Like all you do is just like set up like a large table with a bunch of food and just eat, and while wearing like a nice like tuxedo with a monocle, top hat, and you speak like in a fancy like stereotypical
No,
capitalist voice.
public protest is a waste of time. Because
Well-
they can just because the politicians can just ignore you. So it's not an effective tactic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Or they
the only reason
It's not
that
even-
Or
It's
they
not
could
even about popular support. It's about the illusion of popular support. So unless you have like 50,000 people who've all agreed to be with you, it's a waste of time.
and even then they can just ignore you, and the only reason that it would be effective at all is the implied threat of violence if your demands aren't met.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
no.
it would only be it would only work if you had enough people behind you and like it looked bad enough for the politicians on paper to continue doing what they were doing.
But again, but yet again, couldn't they just throw you out a cage at that point?
Yes. Okay, so let's do the last topic of the day.
Yeah.
Florida man rapes alligator, gets arrested.
What the fuck? Why not just let
That's the official Florida Man theme song.
Yes, play it again.
Oh damn! I just left it. Hold on.
Oh, we'll be fine.
this-
So, yeah, Florida man rapes an alligator and he gets arrested for animal cruelty.
Read the article. It's even funnier. I read the article you sent.
Yes.
Dude says, the alligator tried to eat me, so this is just my punishment.
It's actually worse than it's worse than that because what happened is like the alligator grabbed his pant leg, so he captures it, ties it up, blindfolds it, and proceeds to sexually assault it for the next month, and actually planned on dismembering it later.
God.
Oh. Why are you making me feel bad for an alligator?
Because honestly, this alligator was just you can't not feel bad for the alligator. I mean,
Oh my god.
I mean,
Poor gator.
yes, I agree.
Just shoot the gator already and get it over with.
I mean, it's funny that Florida man had to specify, I don't have no sexual attraction to gators, but I wanted to teach this bitch a lesson. I mean,
Take his dick to the gator. Oh my god.
I could have just killed her, but that would have been too easy. She was getting what she deserved. I mean, first off, you're assuming that gator knows at all what it's doing or what's going on.
Fucking
Fucking
gators.
Florida, man.
Oh, this is even
Punish you with.
this is even funnier. As part of the revenge scheme, he was considering performing noise torture on the reptile by playing what he considered to be nigger music. It's literally in the article. I am looking right at it.
Oh my god, he's become
Oh my goodness.
God, this guy. Dude, this guy fucking.
CIA. Like the Florida, he should join. The CIA should hire this man for.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god.
CIA should
So the CIA could look bad.
put this man in Guantanamo Bay. He's perfect.
Yeah. So what did the gator do to this man to deserve such punishment? Apparently, it bit his pant leg, not his leg, his pant leg, and tried to drag him into the water while he was sleeping, or not sleeping, fishing. And he was able, while Florida man was able to get away unharmed, he thought that this was worthy of getting revenge. I mean, I don't know about disproportionate retribution, but yeah, that's exactly what that is.
This guy is just a psychopath, I think, who like wanted an outlet to his psychopathic tendencies because it sounds kind of suggestive. Bound, blindfolded.
And raped the alligator.
It sounds really rapey. It does.
There's Florida man is the world's worst superhero. He is completely insane and completely unstoppable.
Oh damn,
It's-
Florida man! Why?
It's one that we need, but one that we don't deserve.
But why? Why is this? Why does this happen? This is not a story I planned on ever seeing in my lifetime.
Raping gators. Oh god.
And torturing him with nigger music.
Now that's in quotes, so that's his words, not ours. Now it's worth noting this is like a reggae website, so it's probably planning on playing reggae music. Either that or gangster rap.
It's just playing Bob Marley.
Oh my god. Did he have does he like a psychopath that had extreme hatred for the gator or something?
Apparently. I mean, I don't know what his deal was, but I mean, like, if there's any good news, the gator is mostly fine and is expected to be released back into the wild in a few weeks. At least at the time of that story.
That gator is not fine.
The gator is definitely not fine, but
is it gonna be trauma? Is the gator gonna be traumatized after this?
Probably. But then again, it's also a fucking alligator that just cares more about its like instincts than it does about it being raped. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they're going to like give it therapy and then send it out in the wild or what. But I mean,
I think it involves like rehabilitating it to get its natural instincts back, and then once it stops being, aggressive or otherwise traumatized, which animals can be traumatized. Give me a second here. Given that animals can be traumatized, they can't get nervous, like that kind of thing probably needs to be trained out of them so that they can, properly adjust in the wild. Hello?
It's
Yeah.
not the same way as a human, though. Whatever.
So I'm sure that's what's happening. Although I think Esso's on point here. That gator is definitely not fine.
Poor gator.
It's a very interesting
Gator lives matter. Gator lives matter.
lizard lives matter.
Fucking gators. Yeah.
It's a very interesting story. Only Florida man can make people feel sympathetic for an alligator. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Poor gators.
Yeah. Well, Gator didn't do nothing. He was a good boy. Well, in this case, good girl.
Nothing wrong.
Maybe it was a boy. I mean, it doesn't
Actually,
specify.
no. It was
Does it?
well, no, it was a female.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Florida,
anyways, I think that's everything we got for today. So for everyone watching this recording, thank you, and we'll see you again on Friday.
Bye.